What is going on, YouTube people? Well, we got the worst kept secret in the hobby coming to fruition and a massive curveball that is actually a bigger deal than the lead of this. So, what is going on? Collectors has essentially traded Goldin to eBay, and eBay is sending back the eBay vault and a player to be named later. It's not actually how it's happening. They're selling one to the other, and the other's coming back. I'm sure there's all sorts of craziness in that deal on the back end, but that's essentially the gist of it. Goldin going to eBay has literally been the worst kept secret for about a month now. The surprise here was the eBay vault, which has been drastically underutilized, in my opinion, and a semi-disaster for a long period of time with the way listing titles and descriptions were working, is going over to PSA and will become the PSA vault. The Goldin thing, we'll cover it real quickly here off the top. It makes sense. The card business on Goldin just wasn't great, except for higher end stuff. Them being tied to PSA and people wanting to send their PSA submissions over to Goldin to move seamlessly just didn't work that well, because sub $1,000 cards and even stuff more expensive than that typically sold for way less on Goldin than what they would on an eBay, because people just didn't go there for that sort of stuff. So for eBay acquiring Goldin, it gives them a high-end marketplace that they never had before. It does say that Goldin will still operate as an independent company and Ken will still lead it. So that gives eBay a high-end marketplace for people that want to sell high-end stuff, gives them a high-end client list. All that shenanigans goes along with Goldin to eBay. Makes complete sense for them. eBay is the master of the realm at everyday stuff. They're not great at the ultra high end. Goldin, are they the best at it? I don't know. I don't follow that market super close, but they're on the short list. So it makes 100% sense from eBay side of things. Now, let's talk about the curveball, which I did not hear about this one coming, and to me is actually the bigger deal. The eBay vault now becoming the PSA vault. And it does say at the bottom of this announcement, this is going to take a little bit of time to fully cross over. It doesn't cross over till the end of summer or middle of summer, basically right before the national. I think the end of June is what they say, and nothing will change in the short term, but in the medium term, expect some massive changes. Now, we don't know the full details on all this because it hasn't all been laid out yet, but essentially what you are going to be able to do is have your cards graded, and immediately once grades post, send them to eBay for sale. Now, I assume you'll have the option to list buy it now and or auctions if you want to, but as soon as grades pop, you will be able to route those cards to the vault. Now, remember, PSA has kind of been building towards this. On the back end now, when you have a PSA order getting ready to pop, you could choose which cards. Say you send 10 cards in, you could cherry pick which cards you want to go to the vault and which ones you want to come home. So if you send a 20 card order in and 5 of the cards are maybe for PC, you know you want those in hand, you could ship those 5 home and send the other 15 to the vault. The key thing that I want to see here is what the timing is of it. Do I know what the card grades before I have to make a decision? Because if I send a card in and it grades a 10, I might want to sell it. If it grades a 9, I might just say, you know what, screw it, send it home to me. I'll do something else with it, trade it, give it to a kid, whatever. So the timing of all that will be kind of intriguing if they can make any adjustments to that. They did announce, looks like, what the seller fees are going to be over there. You can see those right here. I'll give you guys a little zoom. Not bad. And I'm sure we'll get more info on this. 16% under $100 is more than what you're spending now. 14% on 100 to 499, and then you can see it kind of decreases from there. So on the medium end to starting getting towards, depending on what you consider high end or not, you actually get a pretty considerable discount on the rates. The other thing here is the ease. Just, you rip a box of Bowman, You send this stuff in, you want to sell it as fast as possible, and you immediately get to move it on over to the eBay vault and immediately list it for sale. I can start that 7-day auction right away. I can put it up for best offer, buy it now, before the card even ever leaves California or New Jersey. So now you have a speed advantage. And on new releases specifically, that stuff really matters. That 3 to 5 days of it shipping home can make a difference. Now I can list that card for sale and have it sold the same day the grade pops on it, depending on what the card is, if it's something that, liquid or something that hot. It's also a massive advantage for PSA/collectors to be able to immediately list on eBay when no other grading company can do it. And you can see the battle lines now being drawn in the sand. Even though we just had the Fanatics Live credit with PSA and some flirtations there, you could see Fanatics is setting themselves up on one side of the fence as we want to control the everything. Everybody else on the other side, specifically eBay, and PSA to a lesser extent. PSA looks like they're trying to play both sides. eBay, what have they done the last year? Invested in the ComC, acquired Goldin, and now partnering with PSA. So they're saying we can't control the manufacturing of cards, but we are going to lock down the marketplaces. Fanatics on their side has everything but grading, and they acquired the marketplace in PWCC. We haven't seen a lot with that yet, but I have a feeling there'll be more coming with that soon. And then PSA is kind of splitting the difference. Hey, Fanatics Live credit, look at that. We're willing to work with you, boys and girls. And then also with eBay on this side of the fence. And like I said, this gives them a massive advantage. Now remember, here, we'll see what the details of this filter out like. This is called the PSA vault, not the Collector's Universe vault. It will be very telling. Remember, when Collectors acquired SGC, I said, pay attention to how they integrate SGC into the Collector's Universe, pun intended. If this vaulting service all launches, I have a very sneaking suspicion SGC will be no part of any of this. That you'll not be able to list your SGC cards directly through the new PSA vault. It's called the PSA vault, not the Collector's Universe vault. Keep that in mind. If you were that vested in growing SGC as a brand, wouldn't you allow the same with SGC slabs? Now, I could be wrong. Like I said, we don't have the full details on all this yet. Maybe it's something that would come into the future. I don't know. But until I see it, I won't believe it. But to me, once again, out of this whole tangled web of transactions, the eBay vault going to the PSA vault is the much, much bigger deal than Goldin going to eBay. Goldin going to eBay doesn't really affect us as everyday, card collectors, flippers, whatever the case might be. eBay vault turning into the PSA vault and streamlining a bunch of stuff, that's a whole different ballgame. Whole different ballgame. What if this goes the next step? And so right now, CGC does raw eBay authenticity guaranteed. PSA does graded authenticity guaranteed. So there's already relationships there. Could we live in a world where raw authenticity guaranteed goes to PSA? And what if you could pay PSA a couple bucks to maybe either pre-evaluate the card or just grade it while it's there? You buy a card on eBay, raw, over whatever the value limit is. I think it's $250. It heads off to California instead of CGC. Maybe they switch that around. This is just me purely speculating here. Goes off to California for authenticity guaranteed instead of CGC, and you could go ahead and pay PSA $20 to slab it up and then immediately send it back to the PSA vault to then sell on eBay. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I know some people in the comments would be like, I would never buy a card raw without seeing it in hand first before I grade it. I'd be willing to take that chance on some stuff. I absolutely would, especially new release product. Maybe PSA would offer a wipe down service. Hey, for $2 extra, we'll make sure that we wipe the card down for you, get those fingerprints off there, and let you know if we think it would grade a 9 or better. Maybe offer a pre-grade service. I mean, the possibilities are endless with stuff like that if they could get the ability to ingest raw cards. I wouldn't be, if I was CGC, I would be calling up eBay and being like, hey, we're all good, right? On this authenticity guaranteed stuff. Contract looks good. We're locked down for a real long time. I don't know. Food for thought. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. Curious for your thoughts and comments down below. More on this probably on Off Center tonight, and probably more on this later in the week because I actually have some additional thoughts on this on the opposite side of things with Fanatics. Catch you, boys and girls, on the next one. Peace.